Hello everyone, welcome to Black Arrow Gaming. I'm Bob, and this is the 8th episode in my first Age of Wonders 3 Advanced Strategy series. In the last episode, I did a lot of just purchasing things, building things, creating units, kind of preparing myself for upcoming battles. This city right here is producing some fantastic archers, and now that I've got a pretty steady gold income, it seems, I'm just going to queue up like 6 of those guys and just let that city keep cranking those out. Down here, I kind of want to make another Union Guard. Again, this city is making good Union Guards on account of this ancient ruins here. And I think it gives them... where are they? The +2 spirit damage there. You can see it under melee strike. Just a nice thing to have. And probably make one of those for now. I think I'm going to be picking my production on each city by the turn just to manage my gold a little better, but this one I pretty much know exactly what I want it to be doing, so I'll let it just kind of automatically move through. My city over here, Ericast, is going to be a good city for cavalry production on account of that Spring of Life. Also noticed it has this magic library up here, which I haven't cleared yet, but that'll allow them to make good support units, which for me is going to be human shamans and human clerics, or priests, sorry. Those guys are really good too because of their ability to heal your units. They're a nice unit to have around. For now, I need this city to continue to grow. I'm going to go ahead and get a siege workshop because production here is going to be important. I'm going to want to make really good knights as soon as possible. Fortunately, the Spring of Life is already explored, so as soon as my borders cover that, I'll have the ability to make... Whoops, I can't afford that. I'll have the ability to make this structure that allows me to get the benefit to my cavalry units. Now, I can't afford a siege workshop on this turn on account of the fact that I need 139 gold, and that's honestly really more important than the Union Guard right now, so I'm actually going to cancel that production. Let my capital city produce merchandise for the moment. Whoops. There we go. And I want this city to just keep upgrading and get to knights as quickly as possible. I do always generally do the production stuff first because in the long run I'll be able to build more knights faster. So that's kind of more important to me right now. Another thing that was pointed out to me in my channel, which I just was kind of ignoring it, but this city down here, my capital, I don't need fertile domain on this anymore. This is a metropolis. I'm already at like 29,000 population, can't get any bigger. So really having that active is just a complete waste of resources. I got a decent mana income now, so I want to go ahead and put fertile domain on pretty much all of my other cities. So I'll go ahead and do that now before I forget. It's kind of easy to. It'll start casting the spell. I'll finish it on the next turn. I was kind of moving these armies up in this direction toward that city. I'm going to send a little backup with them and have... I want my king and that snake to get up. Actually, you know what? I want my king to keep that snake with this army down here. I'm going to use them to kind of explore in this direction a little bit. Somebody did point out that I could go down and befriend one of those elephants, which that's a good idea, but I want to wait until they've got a little bit more backup before they kind of venture out into this area that I can't see. This builder, though, there's no reason for me to not have them continue to build the road they were working on. So I'll go ahead and do that. And that'll link up some of my cities together pretty nicely. Builder can't move anymore, so I'll have them sit for now. Edoras is, well, again, not really doing much of anything right now. I'll just have them keep producing merchandise. They're basically there just to support my economy. Over in this city, I haven't really actually looked a whole lot at what this city has to offer in terms of what it would be good at producing. And honestly, there really isn't much of anything. It doesn't have any buildings or structures in the area that give a benefit to building a certain type of unit. So it's really just going to be an all-around kind of whatever I need it to do city. For the time being, I think I might just upgrade some of the economic stuff in here. a great temple would probably be nice. It would bring me closer to getting a palace. The city itself, you could use a storehouse, I guess. Of course, right now, I can't do anything but have it produce merchandise because my gold is kind of like right on the edge there. I've only got 14. Gonna bunch these units up together. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send a few more units up here with these guys. And then I'll have 2 heroes, each with an army of 4. And this should be enough to defend that city right there, I think. Unless it's like a huge attack, but it should defend it from any unexpected sneak attack or whatever. Alright, so I'll have them hang out there for a little longer. Over here I have my dwarf exploring along this mountain range. I'm going to continue to do that. One nice thing that I just realized is dwarves are obviously good at being underground. So when he's done kind of exploring back in this area, I'll send him underground, and then I can start to get a sense of what the layout of the underground portion of this map is. Hopefully they haven't expanded all over the place down there already. These units here, I'll just leave them sitting in my capital. I need something guarding it down there. But I don't want to spend or have too much firepower down there and have it not be used for anything else. My king I will leave just sitting on this tile right next to that city. And that wraps up that turn. Okay, so town of Las Chalagi produced the hunter. Get used to seeing that message. I'm going to have this one probably join these units. Let's see here. Pull them up as far as they can go to match with these people. There we go. I'm going to send them up with those units just because the hunters can catch up so quickly. I mean, look how far they can move. It's crazy. Now, part of this is because hunters, and this applies not just to elves but to all races, hunters have Arctic walking, so they actually move faster through the snow than they do through the grass. I don't really know necessarily why that makes any sense, but that's the way it is. So I'll go ahead and send them up to kind of catch up with these other units. They'll be able to make it into that city and join them on the next turn. This builder, I was kind of thinking of what else I can do with these things. Building towers is good, and that probably wouldn't be a bad idea, especially to put one maybe around here, kind of behind these trees in this mountain range. It could be a nice little watchtower vantage point, but I get the feeling that once the city's borders start to expand, it wouldn't really matter to have a tower there, because I'm going to be able to see for a while anyway. Where I really need one is maybe down in between this mountain range here to kind of look out over that area. There's another option that I could use my builder for, and that's going to kind of depend on what my dwarf finds over here, I think. Okay, there is a Forbidden Sanctum here. That's really good for building support units. The Altar of Bound Souls, if you build it in your city, will give produce support units +1 resistance and resurgence. So I could actually be a lot more aggressive with my Storm Sisters and not have to worry about them dying. As long as I win the battle, they would come back to life. So that's definitely something I could do. Probably just move him up a little further here. The reason I was thinking I would look around back here before deciding what to do with my builder is because my builder could go over here and build a fortress. Depending on what resource structures are around, it could net me a little extra gold every turn or whatever, but I won't be able to clear this for a while. It's going to require a more powerful army to do that, and I don't necessarily know what's up here yet. So for the time being, I'll go ahead and send my builder back down, and I think I'm going to build a tower in this area, kind of behind those mountains. Alright, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, Fertile Domain is ready to cast. So the city that I cast this on, this city's, I guess it actually doesn't really matter that much to have the extra growth because it's already producing archers every turn. It'll just get me more money if it grows faster. I think this is the city that I want to grow fastest. Oh yeah, but I just I've already cast Fertile Domain on that one in the last episode. Edoras down here, I really need to get some people to clear out these structures because they're not doing me any good with those units just kind of sitting on them. So I think, all things considered, probably the best city for me to cast Fertile Domain on would actually be... Well, is this one that's just a city. Yeah, it would be this one out here. I want to pressure this guy and expand my borders and just kind of get in the way over here. So I'll cast it on this city. Next one up's probably this one that's building the archers. Okay, awesome. Animistic Knowledge just popped up. I've been trying to get this all game. This Empire upgrade is amazing. It gives all treasure sites within the Empire's domain +3 research income. That is awesome. That's +3 research here, 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 here. Everything that produces a resource of some sort. That is like, I think, 15 out of this city alone. When you add up all the treasure sites in my empire, I'm probably going to come close to doubling my magic income per turn. That's awesome. The druids can advance through the research tree a lot faster than anyone else simply because of this empire upgrade. It is so good, and you should always try to get it as soon as possible if you're playing a druid. Once that's done, I kind of know what I'll be going after next, but I'll discuss that when the time comes. Okay, down here in my capital city, once again, I have a little bit of money now to spend, as this city's still kind of working on that siege workshop. So I'll go ahead and grab a pikeman now, just to have a couple extra units in the area. I don't mind having primarily pikemen as my infantry. I think they're really good. Not having a shield makes them a little more vulnerable to range attacks, but their other bonuses with first strike and their ability to hit twice while defending, they're really good. So I don't mind having them being the bulk of my infantry force, at least in the early game. Edoras, again, not much for that to do until I can get units down there to start clearing out those structures, which I will do soon. Go ahead and clear that. Did get my next hunter, and I'm not sure why. Oh wait, no, that was an old notification. He's the one who's already run up here. And with Rial, I guess the storehouse would be good. It's only going to do me, actually, you know what, the storehouse would be kind of a waste of money at this point. Oh, but it does lead to public baths, and I'm going to need that for, actually, public baths is something that I'm going to want in that city as soon as possible, I think, because public baths gives extra happiness bonus to your city, and one of the things the the Warlord always does before attacking a city is they cast Dread Siege, which, actually, I think that lowers the morale of units in the city, now that I think of it. For that, I'm going to want to actually go over here. This little Tome of Wonders has information on everything in the game, so I'm going to type Dread. And Dread Siege is a skill. The lands around the target enemy city tremble. Okay, that actually affects the units. Not necessarily... That doesn't necessarily affect the city itself. So, yeah, the public baths wouldn't really do me any good there. What else could I possibly build here? I guess a Great Temple. I could go ahead and build a Great Temple, get a little extra mana income. But you know what? I'm going to need money on the next turn to build the Masters Guild in this city, so we'll stick with merchandise here for now. Those units want to stay together, and I can just kind of click through everybody else. All looks good. Thought I already told that to produce merchandise. Alright, moving on to the next turn. Okay, so this town is done building a siege workshop. I want to upgrade that and get a Masters Guild. And that pretty much takes up all of my money for that turn. Of course, the city's already budgeted for the hunter, so that's fine. I want to keep moving my builder down. And I might have the hunter scout ahead down here a little bit. just to kind of see what there is to see, so my builder doesn't walk right into an ambush. He's invisible as long as he's standing on a forested tile, so I'll probably move him up like here. That way he can kind of hide, but keep an eye out on the immediate area there. Alright, Edoras can't build. I don't think I can afford a Union. Well, I could afford another Union Guard. And I think I may as well. Just the more units I have, the better right now, I think. I'll have him go stand next to that. Not that he could really protect it from any significant attack, but he kind of needs to go north anyway, I think. Join these units, perhaps. Okay, close that. Again, production for Real. Gonna want to stick to merchandise. And these units can finally make it back into this city. So what I'm gonna do with them is I'm gonna scout a little bit. I'm gonna move them up to about here. And this unit has flying. Flying units use 3 movement points every time you move along a tile. So if you divide 24 by 2 is 12, because I want enough for the return trip. If you divide 24 by 2, that leaves you at 12. That means I could move up. 3 divided by 4 is 4 spaces. And it doesn't matter if you're on a road or not for a flying unit. But it does matter if you fly over mountains. So I'm going to want to avoid the mountains and just kind of move like this. And that gives me just a little more sight into their territory, and I can have her head back. Again, always position your units when defending a city to where they're at least adjacent to that center tile. As long as they're adjacent and there's not another unit hanging out like here, if they attack anybody who's adjacent to that city tile, you'll be on your walls for defense. This poor guy is still wandering around out here in the cold. I'll send him to follow this road over here and see where it goes. King can stay there for now. And we'll just kind of hold ground. Oh yeah, and I want the hunter to come join these guys. So who needs another archer? I think that group with my Theocrat does. In fact, the Theocrat has Sacred Arms. And I'm not sure if Sacred Arms is benefiting... Wait, does she have Sacred Arms? Yeah, there it is. Now, I'm not sure if Sacred Arms actually provides a benefit to range units. Somebody pointed that out to me. I could put the Union Guard with her. He'd get a little bit more spirit damage out of that. And I actually want one of the Storm Sisters to stay with this army just to split up the units that can stun. Kind of balance the armies. I can explore a little further with him on this turn, so while this... Oh, that builder can't build a watchtower from there. I can probably pull him out here, maybe? Just kind of get a better look around. Okay, hey, I found an independent city, which is worth taking a look at. Maybe I can meet them? Nope. I don't see any other units on this turn, and I can't quite reach their territory. Depending on what that is, might want to run down there and grab that. Or maybe get it with my king and his army when they move out to get that elephant. That elephant would be a nice addition to my army. Oh, nuts. That's going to impair my ability to explore. Falling clouds for 4 more rounds. So this is going to make it harder for all of my units to see. As you can see, this guy has, like, no sight at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just at least meet these people. Can negotiate with them. They'll offer open borders and peace for free. It's a human city. I kind of want the humans to like me as a race because I have a lot of their stuff, so I'm going to accept that. Make peace with them. And hopefully they don't get conquered by those other guys before I have a chance to make them a vassal. The hunters join my king. And I'm going to stick the watchtower probably right in between these mountains. Right there. This city should have one more turn, no, 2 more turns until the Masters Guild is done. And I'll tell them to let me know when they're ready to talk. Always want to do that with a city you're trying to buddy up with. That way they'll inform you if they have any quests or anything like that to do. Well, it's not like exploring is going to do this unit a whole lot of good, but you can at least see where that road goes. And it leads me to an inn. Not really worth sending units all the way out there right now. Maybe I can run them a little further and just kind of try to look around. Nope, that's kind of the end of the road there. Yeah, I can't really see anything out here in all that fog. So we'll just have him hold his ground and start heading back to join my army up front on the next turn. These guys, I think, are actually going to get to keep that next... Oh wait, no, you know what? I want that pikeman to go join my king. I would like him to have a pikeman in that army. Because this guy's going to be running straight through. Alright. And I actually can make another. I'll probably make one more. I don't want to spend too many resources on these guys, but I want to get enough units so that I can feel comfortable pulling away from the front lines and clearing out things behind me. Production for Edoras, or merchandise, pretty much. Once I have knights, that's going to make moving around and clearing a lot of these structures out a lot easier. Merchandise and Real would be good. And I need to remember that I should be casting Fertile Domain. I tend to forget to cast spells. I do that a lot. Need Empire-wide spells. There we go. Fertile Domain. So I want to cast that on this city here. Alright, so I have a little bit of space to maneuver now with these units. So I'm going to go ahead and... Oh man, but with all that fog, I can't really see what's out there. So it might not be safe to go out there after all of them, because who knows what they could hit me with. Yeah. Under normal circumstances, if I could see and scout a little better, I would definitely send these units forward into enemy territory and scout it out a little bit. Try to see what I could see, but with that heavy fog covering everything right now, not really safe. I'm a lot better off holding ground at this city here. Although, I am really tempted to go out and try to get an orc city for a different reason, in part because I really want orc technology. That would be very nice, and I would probably use their city to create my first settler. But, again, not really safe. So instead I'll have them hang back, maybe throw a few more units their way in the next 4 turns, and then play it safe. Probably the best, smartest thing to do. On the next turn, I think these guys are going to be able to go out and do some dungeon clearing stuff, or at least go get those elephants and maybe get this shrine to the Frost Queen. I'll have the hunter go back and join them. No reason leaving him out there by himself. And since they're going to be... Actually, you know what? Since they're not going to be doing anything for a while, I'll put that army on camp and tell them to skip. That way it reminds me that they're there every turn, and when the fog clears, I won't forget about them. But I don't really need to be micromanaging both of them like that. These guys stay on defense. I'm just going to kind of hold ground until that fog clears so I can see what's going on. In the meantime, maybe I can get a few knights. I'm getting close at this city here. It'll grow again in 5 turns. That'll give me time to finish the Masters Guild, to build the War Hall, and then to build the other building that comes after that. I forget what it's called, but it's the one that actually allows the humans to produce knights. Alright. This city doesn't really need to make any more Union Guards. I think down here I'm probably better off I might be better off building a trebuchet, or I'm not a trebuchet, building a another elf city somewhere. But this area around me, there's a lot of nothing for the most part. I guess I could build a city down here, get a little gold, and then there's another dungeon down there, but there's really not a whole lot of other resource generating structures that I can clear out anytime soon. So instead, I think I'm going to have this city build... Actually, I should probably get a prismatic sphere in here. Yeah, I'm going to want a little extra defense. It'd be nice to have that in case I needed it. I'll put them on defense. I don't really need them for anything else on this turn. This hunter, I'm going to send down to join them. They could use another archer. That would give them a full stack of 6. And at that point, I'd feel pretty comfortable leaving these guys down there. Just in case something goes at my capital, I want to make sure it's protected. This army can go ahead and head out. We'll go get those elephants. Hey, they can still scout pretty well. My king might have a vision upgrade, though. He does. So this other unit wouldn't be able to scout as well. But you know what? If the enemy did have any units in this area, they would have them on that, probably on that tile. So I think maybe I can actually push up over here a little bit. Or not. That unit has like no vision whatsoever. And I moved it forward a little too far. I'd thought being a flying unit would inherently allow it to see further. That doesn't seem to be the case. That's odd. I really thought that's how it worked. Okay, I'll move her back. Temporarily, we'll need to move those units around because she can't make it all the way back. Moved her a little too far by accident. Elrofan needs more merchandise. This city needs fertile domain. Let's go ahead and cast that. Kind of really want to keep using my magic as much as I can. Maybe there's some other cool spells. I could start summoning animals now. That might not be a bad idea. Let me see if there's any other cities that really need fertile domain right now. I don't think there are. Other than this one. Yeah, that one should probably go ahead and get it. After that, though, I think I can start making animals. Or summoning them, and that would be nice. More merchandise there. And this dwarf should probably head underground. I'm looking forward to seeing what's down there. You never really know. The underground is a hugely important feature of this game, and if you're focused on the overworld, stuff can pop up behind your borders and just wreak havoc. I'd rather avoid that situation from occurring. Let the Union Guard stay in that city now. It's otherwise undefended, but it'll have a couple more hunters soon. Then everyone else can just kind of hold their ground. Do need to decide what I'm going to do with that builder there. I could build a fortress out here. That would be a nice spot to put a second city, actually. But I'm kind of worried about like that necromancer camp down there. And I also need to give these units a chance to clear this area out. So yeah, I'm going to pull them. I'm going to pull this builder back, or at least... Actually, I don't think I need to pull it back, but I need to probably leave it here so that it doesn't get rushed by anything. I shouldn't send it out alone until these units have had a chance to get down there. While these units are up here, I should really be using them to clear out some structures and stuff. This one over here, I have a few units that should be able to reach that on this turn. So I shouldn't really be wasting time with them. I want to send the 2 hunters, this hero who has mountaineering, and my other hero who is a dwarf and has mountaineering anyway. I'm going to send those units off to get like this structure. And once they're done... Actually, those are already explored, so I don't need to worry about them. I really just need to send them down there and get that gold mine, because my borders are going to expand to cover that soon. I don't think the snake has mountaineering. No. No, it does not. So I'll just leave the hunters with them. And then these units should be able to move over those mountains without a problem. Pick the one that has the most movement. I'll go ahead and clear this out. Alright, so they're just gonna... Looks like they're just gonna charge. Now we get to see my hunters in action. And these guys are just amazing. Watch what they do to these poor dwarf prospectors. 2 shots down. Of course, maybe dwarf prospectors aren't really the toughest unit to brag about killing, but still, I mean, these guys are good. Over here, I'll just have them shoot straight over that wall. Now, they did get a critical hit there, but they still dropped him in 2 shots. Have them go defend. And this guy will hit something, but it's not going to matter at all. Alright, let's see if I can give some experience to my heroes. He'll get some experience just by using this, which will heal that unit. She can get some with her spirit magic. And then these guys can get the finishing blow. I'll go ahead and do a melee attack. Alright, so that clears that out. I don't have to think about it. That's just an extra 10 gold per turn I'll get once the city... Once the city's borders expand a little bit more. I get to select another skill to research. Okay, so now my research path is going to change a little bit. Up until now, it's all been focused on getting animistic knowledge, which, by the way, didn't double my magic income, but it went from about 109, my research, but it went from about 119 to 156, so still like almost 40 points more per turn. That's a crazy good amount of research. The next thing that I would normally get, would be I'd start trying to get Summon Zephyrbird, because it's an excellent scout for the Druid. Combined with Partisan Army, you can actually like park the Summon Zephyrbird. You can park them on top of mountains and stuff like that, and they'll be invisible with Partisan Army as long as they're the only unit in the party, and be able to see a huge range. In my opinion, Zephyrbirds are the best scout unit in this game. But Greater Disjunction is also crucially important. If the Warlord starts casting spells on my cities to soften my units up or destroy their morale, I have to be able to disjunct those spells. Of course, without more points in Druidry, I wouldn't be able to use it often enough to do anything about it. So, because Greater Disjunction takes, I think, like 80 magic to cast, and I only have 20, so it would take me like 4 turns to channel enough magic to cast it. So I also need to be upgrading Druidry, and just get more magic or more casting points per turn. So I'm going to be doing that for a little while, upgrading Druidry and kind of working towards getting Greater Disjunction. I should probably have at least 40 magic, so that I can get it in 2 turns instead of 4 or 3. Okay, back down to my capital. I'm starting to pile up a little more money now, which is nice. And I'm going to use it to build a stone wall in this city to expand the borders so I can see a little further and improve the defense. Since I can kind of afford it. Although we'll see, because the Masters Guild just finished too. Ooh, I have just barely enough gold to do this. So the Masters Guild just finished. Now I want to build a war hall, which will lead to the Hall of Chivalry. That's the structure that'll allow me to build knights. So I want to keep that production going, and I have 1 gold left to spend on this turn. I think I'll just sit on that. Should be fine. Whoops. Probably queue up a few more hunters. There's no way I'm going to want to stop building them anytime soon. You need a lot of those if you're going to play as an elf druid. They're just too good to pass up. Although at 12 might be starting to push overkill a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how my first few battles go. Anyway, I'll move these units down here, and I think they all have forestry. So as elves, they're better off attacking from the forest. Not that I really need the extra advantage, but if you can get it, why not? Okay, so double gravity in this place pulls all flying units to the ground. That only affects my king, so not a big deal. Now remember, the goal of this battle is to befriend one of those elephants. I can kill the first one. In fact, I will kill the first one just to get it out of the way. Oh my gosh, they just dropped an elephant on defense in one flurry of hits. Now they do have Animal Slayer, and that's partially why. The snake I'm going to put right here, just to where the elephant can attack it. If I'm lucky, it'll stun it. But even by just simply letting its guard down, that increases the odds that I'm going to be able to convert it with my king. This elephant can get right there. It's just out of range of being able to hit those druids, so I'll use them to kill that boar. Again, Animal Slayer, just absolutely amazing. And that comes from the favored enemy druid empire upgrade. Alright, move these units around, and I'm going to let that elephant... Now see, the only unit he can attack is that snake, so he's going to go right after him. But on defense, he's not going to do... Well, he'll do a decent amount of damage simply because the elephants have devastating charge, but it's nothing that my hero can't patch up with a nourishing meal later on. Okay, so it let its guard down. It is not stunned. I do want these units to get a little experience. So I'll just go ahead and stab it in the back. Won't be able to retaliate. And then I'll take my king around here and use Befriend Animal. And I got it. That should end the battle. There we go. Alright, cool. Now I would probably keep the elephant with the king, but the elephant's damaged, so I'll go ahead and let it go back to the city. I want to keep at least 2 archers around because they're really good to have. And I want to keep this unit here and this unit so that they can upgrade, become more powerful. Both of them will evolve when they hit gold medal rank. Alright. Bundle them together, and you know what? Now that I'm in the area, I can probably send this army after that structure out here. Ooh, and there's a column of champions here. Okay, so I'm starting to piece together a little route here. This army can go over here and take out that animal den, get a little treasure, maybe level both of these up again. Then I can go hit the column of champions, which will give them both another level. So that'll really help towards getting a King Shock Serpent. Definitely want to do that. I'll go ahead and have them attack this, and what's the bonus that this gives? Bestows visiting units with Arctic Concealment and Arctic Walking for 8 turns and Frost Aura for their next battle. Okay. So a structure like that, which gives a bonus to units that stand on it, you really want to move the whole group. As you can see, I'm not attacking with just my king, because then my king would use up that bonus. I'm attacking with the whole group, so they all move onto the tile at the same time. Oh, I think this is... Okay, yeah, there's a hailstorm in here. That's never fun. Hailstorms drop rocks, they drop hail randomly that deals 20 physical damage and 5 frost damage. It's a pretty hefty amount of hail, and it covers an area. So if you're not careful, you could just like randomly lose a unit. It's harder to predict what's going to happen. I'll leave my units on defense for the moment, and I kind of want my king to go ahead and give a nourishing meal to my snake. Snake can defend there, and put these units here. Kind of guard my king since his guard is down, though I don't think it really matters. Also want to get my hunters close enough to this pillar so that on the next turn they can move in one space, which will leave them still with 3 action points, and then light up whatever's in the area. I can stand to put them a little closer too. Okay, that hail landed right in front of my units, but it wasn't quite there. They did try to freeze my king because his guard was down. I thought they might do that, but being an elf, his resistance is pretty high, so I didn't really have to worry about it too much. Okay, now that these units are all in the area and have let their guard down, I can go ahead and light them up. I want to end this battle as quickly as possible. Again, Hunter's Animal Slayer equals really... Oops. Oh, right. He's absorbing damage for the penguins. That's why they didn't actually take any damage right there. The snake could go out there and finish off that martyr for a decent amount of experience. My king can move up and damage the penguins quite a bit. He won't kill them, but that's fine because I want my initiate to actually get that last hit. They'll do 5 to 7 damage with their bolts from there. If they get within 3 spaces, they'll do 10 to 14, so they'll definitely kill it. But again, pretty sure melee attacks are worth more experience. Again, I have to test that actually. I'll go ahead and melee attack for now. That was a topic that came up earlier. And I had a friend who tested it recently, and he told me, yes, they do, melee attacks do in fact give more experience to your units. But I want to test that and make sure. I think she had 13 experience, and that gave her 3 more. I forgot to actually check as I was ending that battle. Oops. I'll check and try to remember to check in the next battle if I have an opportunity. My hero can upgrade, and I want Awakened Spirit at this point because of the fact that I have that snake in my army. It'll make leveling it up a little easier. And what else can I get here? Extra defense. Probably not a bad thing. Could stand to boost my range strength a little too. Maybe I could wait until the next turn to do that. So we'll stick with defense for now. Kind of make my king a little tougher. Okay, over here in Edoras, just continue generating merchandise because I have 1 gold coin in my entire treasury. Same thing here. Alright, my Dwarf Deep card can make it underground, so now I can go down here and just start exploring. This is the only entrance to the underground that I'm aware of that is in my territory. So naturally I'm going to start moving kind of along the subterranean paths that aren't covered in vegetation, since the dwarf can move further down those paths. He has cave crawling, so he's only using 3 movement. He's basically treating the caverns like a road. There is an animal spawning structure right there. Wouldn't be surprised if something popped out and killed him, but I'm going to continue to press on anyway. Because I think the reward of exploring the underground is a lot more valuable than the risk of losing 1 Dwarf Deep Guard. So, no big deal. Those units are going to need to be joined by that, elephant here in a second. And I'll just kind of let this, that town continue to build up an archer defense. They can wrap up the turn, so can they. This guy needs to join this army here, which gives it a pretty solid defense now. I got that guy, he's got a range attack. It's not the best one, but he's an elf, so he does more range damage. Plus a really crazy good archer and an elf longbowman, which is still always good to have around. Having built the tower there, I'm going to send this unit out. And I'm going to end up building a fortress on these structures down here because these are all things that simply having control over this territory will be a benefit to me. If it was like production doesn't really do you any good if you have a fortress sitting on production because a fortress can't actually build anything. But things like research and gold, this would actually make an ideal spot for a fortress. So I'm going to have this thing join my armies out here. And then maybe on the next turn, I'll have it go down and start building a fortress. For now, I'll have it kind of wait there so it's protected by those units. The snake and these units can probably wait where they're at. They'll be rejoined by the rest of their army here shortly. I can't wait for falling clouds to go away. I just don't like that that natural event. Okay, domain invasion at Real. Alright, well, we have our first hostile contact. Looks like they're just sending a couple units this way to scout the area out, maybe. I'm not really sure. Maybe they actually don't know that... No, they would know that this city's here, because they were allied with the other unit, and this was... Or, I'm sorry, they were allied with the other computer. This was their capital city, so... They definitely know where this city is, they just don't necessarily know what's in it. But, we're hitting... I'm about to hit the... I'm a little over the 45-minute mark here, so I kind of need to think about wrapping this one up. So I'll probably, take them on in the next episode. They'll get a nasty surprise. Or maybe... Yeah, I can get to them in the next episode. In fact, I could position my armies on that bridge so that anybody who retaliates would be forced to attack just from this tile. And it would basically guarantee... You can use bridges to actually guarantee that only one stack... Unless they bring a water unit or flying unit, of course. But if they only have land units, then only one stack could attack, and they couldn't surround my other stacks. So the way this bridge is built would allow me to make a triangle here, here, and here. I could have up to 3 stacks right next to each other here, and they could only attack with one. So I think holding that bridge might actually even be easier than defending the city. Depending on what kind of units they throw my way anyway. Once Manticore Riders start showing up, that totally won't matter. But anyway, we'll cross that literal and figurative bridge when we come to it, I suppose. But for now, I'll wrap this episode up. As always, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. This series has been a blast, and I look forward to continuing forward. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again.